of those areas that's a little fuzzy. You could find this in the 300s because it's about the benefits and so forth about genetic engineering, or it could go into the 600s. We've looked at the book, and even though it's an issues-related book, it's actually more about the how-to and the progress that we're making and what the potential uses for genetic engineering are, rather than the ethical, the moral implications. So we've put it in the 600s along with other books on genetic engineering. Another thing that we find helpful, and we're going to make sure really stand out in our new space, which I would love to show you, but it isn't ready yet. We're hoping by the end of the summer, are finding aids. There are too many systems out there. There's the Dewey Decimal, there's BISAC, which places like Maricopa County, Barnes & Noble, and now Albany Public Library are using WordThink, which has been used in a few libraries in the Colorado area. There's Library of Congress, which most of our students will find when they get to college. And Cheltenham, which I discovered was created by a British boarding school. It's not in use here in the States, but it's an additional system for finding a book. And here are 4 different ways of looking for superfreakonomics. Most people are going to come in and they're not going to look for the Library of Congress number. Unless they've spent a lot of time in graduate school, people forget Library of Congress as soon as they're out of college. Cheltenham, as I said, I threw that in there because it is another system some people may be exposed to. 330 is where Dewey Decimal would put this, but most people are going to come in and they're going to say, where are the business books? And that's where they're going to expect to find Freakonomics. I'm not saying create a business section unless that really works for your population. We've got it in 330. But you can add all of these different subject headings. We've gotten rid of the Sears heading. If you'll notice when you look at the subject headings on most of them, it will say economics-general-Sears. We've gotten rid of Sears. They have no idea what that means. They think maybe it's the catalog or the store. We've also gotten rid of nonfiction and fiction. They can tell that by looking at the call number. But adding subject headings, so important and so easy nowadays that we are automated. Before, you had to take the rod out of the drawer, make sure everything was in order. You just put it in and it populates. It's a wonderful way for you to make this more accessible for your population. Another thing that we found was that subject headings don't always make sense. We tell students, if you're looking up a person, you can look it up last name, first name, or first name, last name. But who thinks about titles? Arthur, King does not make sense to a student. King Arthur does. Arthur's not his last name. So when you're looking for things like Crossleys at the crossing places, or the Crystal Cave, or Reeves' Here Lies Arthur, King Arthur should be the subject heading. That's how they're going to find it. So we're making those kinds of changes. Signage, critical. I really like the stuff on the left where it says imagine. That's where the fiction collection is, because fiction should spark your imagination. But there's all kinds of other ways you can do it. There are end displays. There are tags you can put along your shelving. You can put pictures up. You can color code. There are just innumerable ways that you can make your shelving easily findable. So if somebody's standing there and saying, where is, it's very obvious to them. So basically what I'm saying is, take the time, spend a few minutes thinking about ways you can make your collection really pop for your students. If there are special projects that they continually do, civil rights, the climate control, the climate change, sustainability, all of that. Again, that's spread out throughout the collection. If it's easier for your students to find, my feeling is, why don't you do that? Flip your collection, flip your shelving, make it an easy patron experience for you. I'm happy to talk to anyone about this. You can email me. My email address is on there, lpearle@gmail.com. I tweet at ThenLibrarian. I have a blog. And you can also see what we're doing at the library if you go to hackleySchool.org/GoodhughLibrary. There will be pictures up shortly of our building process and others of our book fair. But we also do highlight some of what we're doing with the collection. And I thank you very much. Are there any questions from the audience? Since I'm can't see. I feel very
Does anybody
awkward.
have?